evening and welcome to Gunner Shot. Today we're going to talk about the revolution in Bangladesh, which has turned into anarchy there. I thought about it a long time. Should I do this or not and all that? But finally I said, okay, let me go ahead with this dialogue or monologue. There's, well, that's how it is. But the situation in Bangladesh is not very great. I thought we must discuss it before something else happens there and things go out of control and then it's difficult to patch. Okay. Having said that, uh, from my side and all my friends and all those who come on Gunner Shot, a very happy Deepavali to all of you who are here, including those who have joined me in from Bangladesh. Okay, here we go. First, I'm going to talk about this, and I'll tell you why. I'm going to talk. Everyone knows. Those in India know. I'm sure those in Bangladesh also know that we've entered into a kind of a detente with China. They pulled back. Disengagement is taking place on the border. Today it's to be completed. Tomorrow there's going to be exchange of sweets for Deepavali. In this context, I want to put something across because whenever I did a video on Bangladesh, a lot of Bangladesh, audience came up and said, "Oh, what are you? You're nothing in front of China. China will sort you out. We will go towards China, and we are more interested in China and all that." I refrained from talking about it then, but now I'll talk. Look at this. This is a article in South China Morning Post, right? Chinese. So what do they say? They say that can Philippines emulate China-India border deal to defuse the situation or tension? And this is, in this article, if you go through, they want to use the India-China model for Philippines. That's a different story. But what do they say about India? Every Bangladeshi viewer must understand this. There's this chap called Don McLean Gill. He's from De La Salle University in Manila. What does he say? He says India is the only member of the Quad, US, Japan, and Australia, that has effectively and physically pushed back China. He cites incidents between 21 and 23 when India pushed Chinese troops back from the Tawang district of the northeastern Indian state of Arunachal. He's referring to the Yangtze incident. He's also said that, look, China only responded to force, and it shows that their interest in peace with India stems from the realization that India is the only country that has managed to give them a bloody nose in a physical confrontation. No other democracy in the world has been able to do that. So to say that last week's agreement was achieved only through communication is not the case. India had to show some muscle for China to recognize that there should be peace in the border. So please understand, those who are from Bangladesh, China will do nothing against India. If it does, it will get another bloody nose. Okay? So those of you who've been threatening us, oh, we will let China in, all that, rethink in Bangladesh. Because I think Bangladesh has to rethink on these issues quite a bit. Now, this is an article from RSIS. What is RSIS? It's Rajaratnam School of International Studies from Singapore. This is their views. He says this 2024 border agreement represents a pivotal moment in contemporary Asian diplomacy, offering insights into the evolving nature of conflict resolution between major powers in the 21st century. While skeptics might view it as a temporary accommodation driven by immediate strategic considerations, the agreement's potential significance extends beyond its immediate military implication. It demonstrates the capacity of rising powers in plural, India and China, to manage territorial disputes through institutional frameworks and diplomatic innovation, even in the era of increasing global tensions and nationalist pressures. Looking beyond 2024, the true test of this agreement will lie in its ability to facilitate a broader strategic dialogue between India and China. One that addresses not just the territorial issues, but the fundamental question of how two rising Asian powers can coexist and potentially cooperate in shaping the emerging world order. So please understand, those of you who are from Bangladesh, you must understand what you're dealing with. That's important. So when you people pass remarks to the effect that, look, oh, China will sort you out, we will use China to sort you out, we will not allow you in, but we'll allow China in. Understand where you stand. Things change in geopolitics, like things are changing in your own country. And this I'm addressing broadly to you. Well, a lot was spoken about the monsoon revolution and things like that, and that Hasina has been thrown out, and now we will be free, and this is our second liberation. What is the truth of the second liberation? That's what I want to put across to all of you, right? And then you'll understand what I'm talking of. Okay, this is what a video which is doing the rounds, in social media. What does it say? Okay, let's listen to this. Right? This is the one of the persons of the student leaders who masterminded the whole show. And he's a person who's admitting in a TV show in public, right, that they have resorted to killing cops, murder, everything to overthrow the Awami League. Have a look at it, right? Okay.
আমরা এটাকে বিপ্লব বলছি কিংবা গণঅভ্যুত্থান যাই বলেন না কেন, এটা কিন্তু কোনো সাংবিধানিক নিয়ম মেনে হয়নি, কোনো আইন মেনে হয়নি। আইন যদি মানতে যেতাম তাহলে কিন্তু এই বিপ্লব গুলো হতো না। যদি মেট্রো রেলে আগুন না দেওয়া হতো, যদি পুলিশদেরকে না মারা হতো, তাহলে এই বিপ্লবটা এত সহজেই অর্জিত হতো না, কিংবা এই ফ্যাসিবাদের পতন নিশ্চিত করা যেত না। সুতরাং এখানে কিন্তু নিয়মের ব্যত্যয় ঘটিয়ে পৃথিবীতে যত বিপ্লবের ইতিহাস আপনি দেখবেন না কেন, সবগুলো ইতিহাসই কিন্তু সংবিধানের কিংবা নিয়মের বাইরে গিয়ে কিন্তু বিপ্লবগুলো সংঘটিত হয়ে থাকে।
So there was nothing constitutional about the whole affair. Everything what was done, without law, illegally, criminally. And yet, the Bangladeshis call that this is a revolution. Just think where they are. But that's not the end of the story in Bangladesh. Okay? Now let me go further. The same people who were indulging in murder, arson, rape, loot, and burning of Hindus, everything, have been given immunity against all crimes they have committed for those 3 or 4 days. I mean, can you imagine? In the last episode with Mr. Shriya here, I showed Professor Yunus getting these 2 student leaders on stage, whom he called the masterminds on an international platform. He called them the masterminds of this revolution. And they said, how did they carry out revolution? Here is another student leader who's admitting to murder. And then the current government has given all these people immunity. So this is the Bangladesh revolution, which is now completely glowing into an anarchy. It doesn't stop here. Okay. Now there's a power struggle on. They want to throw the president out. There's tension. Right now, a certain amount of, heat is taken off. But last week, it was all over the place that the president will be thrown out now. Just think. And why was this president being thrown out? Because he said, look, I heard that Sheikh Hasina had resigned, but I've not seen the letter. So people have went after him. They were demonstrations outside his house by the same students. They wanted him to resign. Just think, if what would the state of Bangladesh be? You have a government which is not elected. It's an interim government which has usurped all powers. The elected leader has been sent off. We don't know where the resignation letter is, whether she resigned or not. There's a proof of criminality which has happened publicly, masterminded criminality admitted by the present chief advisor. This is a democracy which is happening. Okay. And then the president is also being removed. What is the law left? I understand it is the army which said, look, we are not going to let this happen. And we don't take orders from you, we take the orders from the president. And if the president is not there, who it is? And at this point of time, probably they have gone back a bit, but that's not the end of the story either. Okay, this has lingered for too long. You just look at it, security beefed up for president's resignation. And then this student leader comes out and says, the president's fate is a political decision, not a constitutional issue. There's no need to stage demonstration and all. We'll make him resign. This is complete anarchy. Okay? Complete anarchy. You see the dots, you connect the dots, how things are going. So I'm very clear, right from day one, I've been saying this was a staged anarchy. And this staged anarchy is now blowing out and showing itself in full form. Right? Of course, luckily the BNP is not for it. I mean, I don't know why. Probably they fear that they will also be marginalized. And at this point of time, they're not in great shape. So BNP is at odds with the student movement, and they are not with the students to remove the president. Okay, that's the only saving grace. I think today, if Bangladesh is surviving with some modicum of law and order, it is thanks to the Bangladesh National Party and the army. That's how it is. Okay. Incidentally, this video which I showed has been put out by the Awami League. Now, I'll come back to the Awami League a little later. But this video, the way they're coming out with things now, it implies that the Awami League is not dead. They might wish it away, but it can't go. Political movements don't die so easily. And this is a party which gave Bangladesh its independence. They might be on the back foot today, but that's okay. Haven't we seen it in India? How many parties were virtually wiped out? Same Janata Party had two people. No, so the BJP had just two people in the parliament. Today it's in the majority. Okay, right. So tension and Bangladesh. Okay, now the Bangladesh National Party is also conscious of the fact that there'll be a constitutional vacuum. But then, if these people buckle, which probably might be the next step, forget that constitution itself will go for a toss. Then it depends on how the army reacts. Okay? And the law and order situation in Bangladesh is going back to worse. Let's be very clear about that. Okay? Look at this. The moment the government has gone, the Supreme Court has repealed an earlier order of the government, and they have reinstated the Judicial Council. The Parliament had put a Judicial Council in place earlier. Now the Supreme Court has made its own move. Okay, right. And then they want to reconstitute the election commission. So there's a search party for it. There's a search committee. This is more like a cordon and search party in a counterinsurgency operation. Everything is being whitewashed. Surf ka dulai. So the judges on their own, they want to clear up the election commission and put in new laws. The constitution be damned. Then all the students have entered the secretariat to get their marks rescinded. Why? They couldn't pass higher secondary. So they say, look, we couldn't pass higher secondary because of the revolution. So please pass us. Otherwise, we'll comment this thing. Demonstrate. एक तो पढ़ते नहीं हैं, and they are involved in criminality. That's very clear. And then they want free pass. So where will Bangladesh go? So that means some goons will be made to pass. All the useless fellows will be made to pass. This is where they are. Okay. And then now there's one report which comes out, 2025 tak election ki baat mat karo. Now this government has already put in 3 months. After all, August the whole thing started. We're closing on to 3 months. And it will continue. Slowly it will continue. And there might not be elections. There might be something else. So there's a thing which is unfolding in Bangladesh which we need to understand. Okay. Now, there's some opinion which says holding processions is a constitutional right. Breaking the law is not. That's the energy advisor who's talking. So law is being broken, ad lib. That it's not the law advisor who's speaking, it's the energy advisor who's speaking. Why? Because power plants have been broken. What else can you do? I mean, just think who's to speak and who's not to speak is something which this thing. So what is being destroyed? So there's destruction, ransacking, that's what comes out when you read. Okay, then there's Mr. Brahmachalani's post. There's one of the top industrialists, they burned their factory. Why? Because he's supposed to be Awami League. Bas khatam. Usko rak kar do. So what are they doing? They're burning their own country. Right? Oh, this is the cake. This Joker who's on your thing. Let me open it up a little more so that you have a look at it. No, sorry. Yeah. Okay. You know who this man is? His name is Peter Haas. Peter D. Haas. What was he? He was the US High Commissioner in Bangladesh, or the US Ambassador to Bangladesh till the revolution. The instigated revolution. And this fellow was the one who, with all those Donald Lu and all those people who came last year to Bangladesh, to set up the whole story. He was very vocal about the whole affair, the elections and all that. The day he goes back to USA, in fact, he resigns from his post. And then he becomes the CEO of Accelerate Energy. And he leads a delegation to Bangladesh. Okay? And what do they do? See, the news is the Bangladesh-India gas pipeline project is cancelled. Okay? And in that place, the LNG project will be given to this Accelerate Energy, headed by Peter Haas. तो पूरा सर्कल हो गया ना अभी कि that complete instigation by this fellow. What for? To ensure that India-Bangladesh deals are broken. And now he's making money of the deal. And he'll line up all these fellows. And then once this revolution is done, there's someone flown in from the top, Nobel laureate G, become the chief advisor. and then mayhem starts. In between all this mayhem, this ambassador comes back for an energy deal. This is straight out of Robert Ludlum's or James Bond movies. तो रॉबर्ट लुडलम के कहानी में ना ऐसे होता है. Okay, right. Now, in the midst of all this, these Chinese chaps also land up there. They come with one of their, ships. They also searching. कि है कहाँ? They also don't know where they are. And then Bangladesh says, "Oh, blood, come, आ जाओ. I will use you against India. आप use कर लो अभी." And I want to tell Bangladeshis, just think where Chinese are today, why they have gone back on the LAC. If you analyze, they are bleeding internally. And this analysis is ongoing in India. In fact, with me also, I've taken time off that to discuss Bangladesh because we have to understand what's going on in Bangladesh. It's our neighbor, 4,000 kilometers border with them. Oh, China will sort it out. This is the problem. Okay. So this is the thing. And then there is internal problem, floods, prices is escalating, all that. There's no full stop in Bangladesh today on all these issues. So you have anarchy, complete, no law. जो मर्जी जो करना चाहता है कर लो. उसके बीच में अमेरिकन आ जाता है पैसा खाने इनका और ये खुश हैं. They are all very happy. भाई बांग्लादेश के साथ this is what their energy advisor is doing. So we should know where Bangladesh is and how to treat them. Is it time to wield the stick is the question. This is their cartoon, their own cartoon, not mine, from Dhaka Tribune. So you can imagine what their status is. Okay. This is what they say. Reforms require unity among our politicians. Okay, that's the interesting part. So they want unity. But what does it say otherwise? But you see this thing in the right corner where I've said Brahmachalani's another tweet. Military-backed UNS has already barred the Awami League students' wing, jailed countless number of leaders and members, and turned a blind eye to the extrajudicial killing of its activists. I've shown that to you. Now he tells FT the Awami League has no place for now in Bangladesh politics. So this is the kind of democracy which is coming in. Selective democracy, where a full-fledged party is being thrown away, completely whitewashed. Right? Can you do that? And then I rightly agree with this editor who says you require unity. But is this the unity you want? How can you wish away the wishes of people who still support Awami League and you call them faces? Obviously, they are being thrown out not because of democracy, but because of deals. And that American ambassador back as Accelerate Energy CEO is proof of the fact the whole story is engineered because the Awami League and everyone were against all this nonsense which was happening. Yeah, then of course they say we need to look forward and not back. I agree with them. And in this article, it's a very good article actually. If you read, he says, look, you might not like Sheikh Mujibur Rahman today, but don't forget that he's the one who got us freedom. We wouldn't have been a country without him. And he's not a single person's, symbol. He's a symbol of a country. And if Sheikh Mujib had not been there, these chaps would have been still part of East Pakistan. और वही हालत हुआ होगा जो पाकिस्तान में हो रहा है इनका और भी बुरा होगा because Definitely, no one from Bengal. I mean, East Pakistan was liked by those in West Pakistan. That's why the whole story, right? And this is what is happening there. I mean, just think. And I think they're in a very bad shape at this point of time. And what can I say about Bangladesh? 3 months they got from, it was a bad situation when this revolution happened. It's a worse situation now. I'll get back to you maybe a month, two later, when things settle down after the American elections get over, some analysis of that goes through, and then our own equation with China is clearer as to how do we deal with Bangladesh. We need to deal with it. It's nice to say, oh, we are an independent country, we want to do what we want. You do what you want. I have no issue with it. As far as I'm concerned, we have no issue with what you want to do. But if there is anarchy in Bangladesh, we will not ignore it. And we'll do what we have to do. And what we have to do, we know what we have to do. If we know what we have to do with China, if we know what we have to do with Sri Lanka, we know what we have to do with Maldives, and we also know what we have to do with Pakistan, we know what we have to do with these. And mind you, this is nothing against Bangladesh. This is Indian interests. Indian interests prevail. That's primary to us in India. In the process, India's friendship is always open. India's hand of friendship will always be open with Bangladesh. We like Bangladesh to be good neighbors. Just not neighbors, good neighbors. But at this point of time, for us, you're not a good neighbor at all. Right? We see chaos and we see anarchy. And I leave it at that. I don't have solutions today. I don't even promise a way forward. We will touch base on this 15, 20 days from now or as developments take place. I thought, some kind of a update was required to all viewers of Ghana Shot on Bangladesh. And that's why I came back and to talk about this. So I'll take some questions and then we'll call it a day because Deepavali, all of you would like to spend time with your near and dear. Of course, the actual Deepavali is today, but many people do celebrate Deepavali today. Yeah. So happy Deepavali to all